Evening. Welcome to this live session. I am so excited to welcome you to this episode of our series of conversations towards the Future Forward Female 25 Under 25 Awards. Tonight we're going to be having another inspiring conversation, but before then, we're just going to wait for more future forward females to come on board. And I want you to take out this time to invite your friends, your family, and just anyone you know who would benefit from this conversation today. Welcome TK Koye. Welcome Joyful Bolu. It's so good to have you tonight. So tonight we're going to be having a conversation with another inspiring future forward female, Christina Soname. And while we wait for more people to come on board, I'm just going to introduce Christina to us. So Christina is a management consultant, a learning and development professional, a corporate trainer, and a speaker. And she's passionate about inspiring young professionals to embrace the dignity of labor and commit to a culture of excellent stewardship in their personal and professional lives. She's also the founder of Dear Young Professionals Network, which is a platform that she has used to mentor hundreds of professionals in their various fields. And she's also an author of a book by the same name, Dear Young Professionals, which is a fictionary storified book which examines the lives and stories of professionals in the workplace. And I am so excited for this conversation because I know that we are going to be getting real value from the insights that she's going to be sharing with us. And I can already see Christina. I am so excited to bring her up. Christina, please, if you can send a request to join the live, I would accept it right now. Okay, let me invite you instead. So I would like to see your excitement in the comment section. We're going to be having Christina any moment now. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, it's such an absolute pleasure to have you tonight.
Same here. It's so good to be here. Thank you for the introduction, and you look amazing.
And you are such an inspiration. Looking at the work that you've been doing, it's really such an inspiration to young women out there. And I think we'd want to start off by knowing about your work with Dear Young Professionals, because I feel like it is very vital to these conversations that we're having. We are talking about leading women in their various fields, and to do that it requires commitment to excellence and building a great work ethic, which is one of the things that you do with Dear Young Professionals. So would you mind telling us what inspired you to start that initiative? What did you see and you said to yourself, I need to start this?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the question. And hi everyone. I see you, Joyful Bolu. I actually like your name. I like the Joyful before Bolu, but hi everyone. Thanks for having me and thanks for being here. So yeah, I mean, definitely there's an inspiration behind DYP. So for a season in my life, I got to a point where every time I was in a conversation with like a CEO, a leader in an organization, they would say things like, "Oh, Christina, I'm looking to hire for a certain role. I need someone like you. Just find me someone like you." And I would make an effort. And then at the point I was just like interested, like, okay, on this side, so many people are saying there are no jobs. On this side, there are so many people, I'll be every other day, like people were saying, I'm trying to find someone like you. They will speak to my boss and say, please tell Christina to refer one of her friends. I have a role. And I actually did struggle sometimes to refer people because I knew that they were asking for someone like me. And that was like There's an
Yeah.
expectation of the kind of person that
Yes.
they will expect to meet. So I was being careful too with my referrals. And it also occurred to me that, oh, there's a mismatch going on here. What really is the mismatch here? Like, how is it that there are so many openings, experienced higher roles, and even entry level roles, and on this other side, there's so many people say, but I began to see that there was a mismatch between the type of people that employers wanted to hire versus the type of people that schools were on the average churning out. Yes, there were those exceptional people, but on the average, like people will show up in the workplace and behave in certain ways and just frustrate their employers. And it was a case of, if people know better, they will do better. I've always had the opinion that you can't assume that someone knows and they're just trying to frustrate you. The question is, do they even know that they're even frustrating you, or they're not meeting up with the requirements and all that? So as I probed further, I realized that the school will prepare people with technical skills, but to a large extent, people were still lacking in soft skills, and they needed to be able to hit the ground running. And what I realized is that when you even come into the workplace, a number of employers will actually prefer you to be tight on soft skills. It's easier to teach you technical skills. I'll send you for one training or two. I'll pay for some. But if you have the right attitude, it's nice. I mean, it's better if you have the technical skills. But it was almost like another attitude, and I can easily teach the technical skills if the soft skills are in place, than have someone who has the technical skills, but as basic and job ownership is lacking. Because what's the point? You can't own your job, but you have the skill for it. It won't show. So that was what led to me starting a column where I was often writing on Monday mornings, DYP, morning 7:30, I'll put up a post on my IG page. I did that for 18 months, just writing a letter to young professionals, every week, just dropping tips about soft skill related skills and how to conduct themselves. Having done that for 18 months, people were in my DMs like, Christina, can we just compile this? Give us a book. And that's when I was like, I mean, who am I to be writing a book? But then my mentors were like, Christina, like, this book is long overdue.
Yeah.
The pressure was on every side. In fact, the title of the book was a suggestion in the comment section. Like, Christina, while you're at it, we have a title. So my followers came up with a title, in the comment section. And actually, that title of the book today, right? We just tweaked it a bit. And yeah, that's how we had the book. And then the book led to the community, because again, people came for more, like more, and then we had the community startup. And it's been a journey of just trying to hand down those skills that can help somebody go from school to being ready to add great value to organizations. Yeah.
Okay. So this is really, really inspirational. And I would like to backtrack your story a bit. Growing up as a young woman, did you always see yourself doing the things that you're doing right now? Or was there a particular moment of awakening where you realized that I am called for something bigger?
So, I mean, all my life, all through my journey, growing up and as a young person, I've kind of like always been singled out of the crowd. But did I know that I'll be doing this specific thing? No. But I'd always been that person who somehow will stand out. I've always been on the speaking side, always been on the leadership side, always been on the teaching side. Even in uni days, I remember that my lecturers will sometimes send their notes to me in advance to say, Christina, start the class, I'm going to run late, so I'll start the class. So I'd always been somehow, yes, but did I know that I'll be doing this exactly? No, I thought that I'll be a chartered accountant, just build a career in accounting and just work for a big four, grow to partner level, have a family, have plenty money, go on many vacations, just live a good life, right? But it came, the part of, this work that I do with DYP, obviously I still have my career and everything going on, right? But with DYP, doing this exact thing and standing in this place where I'm trying to impact others, lead change, impact the whole industry, add value. No, I didn't conceive this, much earlier. This just started with me saying, oh, let me add value to this whole thing by just writing every week, which is what I started with. And then things just kept evolving and evolving and evolving, and it keeps evolving even till now. Yeah.
Wow. So amazing. I think one thing I'm really curious about, because I know that there's so many young women out here right now that have grand ideas and they just somehow feel feel like they are not ready or they're not prepared to step out and launch out the idea that they have. So how did you move from idea to execution? What would you say to women who are at this point in their lives where they have these ideas that they want to execute, but they just don't feel like they're ready? Is ready an actual thing?
Exactly. So that last point you made is everything. I don't know that there's ever such a thing as being ready, especially, this is coming from me who my personality profile is one that tends towards perfection.
Yes.
Those are the people that analyze and overanalyze. That's me, right? Yes. So I'm someone who has a tendency to keep trying to perfect the idea before I start. And honestly, there's really no such thing as perfection. I've learned that, learning that, right? I've come to embrace the concept of progress over perfection.
Progress over
it's a mantra I personally have now. Progress over perfection. Yes, I would rather that you start small than not start at all, right? You may not have the capacity or the resources for the biggest version of your idea and your dreams right now. And I think that's even normal, because oftentimes when we start with the biggest version of our ideas or our vision, we're likely to make very costly mistakes, because at that level, a lot more resources are at stake, a lot more risk is involved. So there are benefits of starting small. So I'd rather that a person starts out at whatever level they are with the idea and grow it than wait till they have all it takes to birth that grandest version of their vision, because that may take more time. And generally, I've seen in the world that people like the idea around proof of concept is real, where let's see what you've done before we can commit more to you. And it even aligns, with scripture that talks about, being faithful in little and then being handed more. So my advice, is start to execute at a level that you are comfortable with, right? As you start out, your confidence grows, all right? And the more that people relate, or relate with your idea, relate with your concept and all that, you begin to see that it's actually having results and impact. And that in itself is very encouraging and can get you to push forward and keep going until you birth that grander version, or the biggest version. And even what you can be sure about, that even the grand version you have in mind right now is going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger. Exactly.
So what you're saying is focus on the now, right? The big picture would unfold as you move, as you take action. So so profound.
Absolutely.
So we've been putting the spotlight on young African women who are doing great things, who are making great strides in their various fields. And you have experience consulting for young professionals. So now I'd like to bring this in the context of as it relates with women. What, in your experience, what would you say holds back a lot of women from building the world-class career as professionals that they want to build?
That's a whole that's a whole plan. So I mean, in working with women specifically, I mean, I get to work with both men and women, and I see the difference. I see that a lot of second guessing, self-sabotage, a lot happens for women. And I'm not saying that men don't deal with these things as well, but I see it more with women. And as I look in closely, and as I look closely at it, I understand it a little more now in my journey as a woman, going from single to married to motherhood. I see that women have a lot of caps that keep dropping on us. And those caps, is like, I mean, I've been joking about this recently. Let me bring this home, even to myself. I've been joking about the fact that as a mom, I have an infant. You can literally go from changing a diaper in 30 minutes to a board meeting where you're trying to decide on $1 million project. And it takes knowing that it's okay. Like, this is part of the fun of being a woman. It's okay that one moment I'm changing, tending to my baby, and the next thing I have to switch caps and comfortably. Like, this is not, it's not pretense. You
Yeah.
understand? It's not that, what am I? I'm just a diaper changer. I'm just a mom. No, you can't look down on yourself. Like, it's actually a plus that you can switch like that. So I see that a number of women, once we start to, like, advance and, start to wear some other caps, this is just one of the factors, right? Some women start to pull back on their dreams, their goals, and start to, for lack of a better word, settle, feel like, oh, one thing has to go. Sometimes, I mean, you have to understand your season. There are seasons to pause on certain things. But pause doesn't mean leave the game or exit the room. Pause means taking some time off to attend to things, and then finding how you can still live your fullest life. There are more seasons you will do more, seasons you will do less, but it's not even more about what you're doing. It's more about where your mental state is while you're doing whatever you're doing. Your mental state must remain empowered. You must stay in that mental place of, hey, it's great. Like, I got this. I can be this, I can be that, I can be that. So it's first the mental state, not allowing, all the demands that come upon you, wife, mother, everything else, take away from your ability to be confident and believe in what you carry. That is enough for the boardroom. You can walk away from diaper changing room and
I can
say,
see your husband in the comment section giving his full support.
I
Welcome, sir.
So that is thanks for the welcome. Yeah, someone saying it's easy to get lost in motherhood. Absolutely. And forget who you are as a person is very real. And this is me saying, I'm not just speaking to the challenges I've seen. I'm now speaking to why some of those things are happening to women. Because I, for one, I'm just like, okay, yes, why is this the case? And yes, motherhood is demanding and everything. But I'm saying that, don't lose yourself first in your mind, because once you accept defeat mentally, even when there are opportunities for you to ride on, to still live your best life, to still, even if you were at a smaller scale, do the things that you love, you will not even see those opportunities, because mentally you've checked out. You felt like, what, I mean, this is a lot. I just have to, just be mommy and that's it, right? So for women, I see, that whole thing about self-sabotage, that mental state of, because I mean, a man can just go on a roll. Like, he's just going from one board meeting to another meeting. He's just traveling the world. He may be a father, but he has this amazing wife holding things down at home. So his confidence is building on and on and on. But you, for example, have to take a pause, make the meal for the family, take care of a baby. But as you're doing it, you too can pick up. Like, don't let that, make you feel any lesser. All right. Stay confident. It's okay if you have to pause in a season. Look forward to getting back. And when you can get right back. So, yeah, for women building careers, I would say that that's one of the major whys I've discovered. So I've spoken to it, the why behind things like self-sabotage, lack of confidence. And then there's also the part about negotiation. I've realized over time a number of women do not bring their best self to the negotiation table. Women are naturally empathic, right? On the average, right? It's like, I just want to help. I just want to help. But you have to know how to be able to demand on a negotiation table. Like, most times I've been at interviews and a man, you see, this is not men versus women, but I'm just giving an example, right? Where you see someone comes to the CV, you can see one person based on the CV is more qualified than the other. But now, gender, the more qualified person is the female, the not so qualified person is the man. But the men have some level of confidence when they are calling money that they want to earn. But oftentimes you see the woman on a negotiation table, she's a bit docile, she's just like, and that sometimes is not just in the money that you're calling. It's like we're reading your mindset and we're worried that when this person is with our customer, is this how she would not be able to handle negotiation? So it's not just you're not being nice by not being able to say, hey, this is what I'd like to earn, being assertive, being confident and, you know, being a great negotiator. It's beyond just your salary. It's also showing us that if you had to represent our interests some other place, you would also bring that same energy to the negotiation table. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that's another area where I see that, you know, a lot of women in career need to be conscious about, and it's a learned skill. You can learn the skill. It's not, we're not saying, you know, just be hard. You know, there's a skill called negotiation. Learn it, practice it. Even at home, there's room to practice negotiation. Practice it until, you know, you have a hang on it, and you can bring that, you know, that confident self that you are to the negotiation table and negotiate for the best things for yourself.
Yes.
Because you deserve it. You deserve it.
So I really love everything that you said. And one thing that I can highlight from all you said, the problem is not that women don't have the capacity or the ability. The problem is fear, lack of confidence, self-sabotage. And I really believe this is such an empowerment for women listening today. Go for what you want. Take it by the head. And thank you so much. You know, it's so amazing because you actually answered the question that I was going to ask. Because I know that we have so many young women who are navigating the transition from singlehood to becoming a wife and becoming a mother. And they just seem to be swallowed up in so many demands. And it feels like they cannot truly go after their personal goals at this life. And I was going to ask you, and you've answered most of it, but I would like you to shine light on your personal experience. How was it for you? Because I know that you're a wife and you're a mother. So how were you able to navigate that season? How have you been able to thrive in your professional life and meet the demands of marriage and motherhood? And what would you say to women who need to embrace this season of their lives?
Thank you for that question. In fact, I mean, I think that from the experience I've had so far, I've realized that it's actually something that, you know, I've come to first be more grateful for women who have gone ahead and have been cheering younger women like us on and making us feel like you can do this. Like, I remember that at one point of becoming a new mom, I was feeling quite overwhelmed. And then I remember I was listening to a session by Mrs. Ibuku Aweshika. And then, you know, somewhere in between asking a question, she mentioned how, you know, she had children. And, you know, she made reference to her children on something. And it just struck me like, that's true. She also had a season where motherhood happened to her. And, you know, here she is doing great things. Like, it was just a reminder for me. Like, I've been all over grateful for, you know, women who are mothers, you know, who wear these multiple caps. And I've gone ahead to blaze the trail because people like that, you can look at them and you're encouraged. Only because there'll be days when it just feels like, you know what, hey, boya, I can settle for
I know, right?
else. Maybe I just can't. Yeah, you know, but when you see, you know, these examples, when you see, you know, DDK, when you see these people, and I love when, you know, and I love that these women have actually been very honest also with their own journeys to say that, hey, there are seasons where you have to slow down and it's okay. You know, you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm missing out. You know, by the time I come back in the game, I'll be out of this. No. Like, I feel like God actually rewards women for the sacrifices that we make in seasons where, you know, you have to adjust career and all that. But personally, for me, navigating it has first been about, one, understanding my season and being grateful for it. Right? That's been the first thing that has helped. Yes, because it won't, my baby will not always be 3 months or 6 months. Like, it's going to keep growing. So in that first few months, it's just a season. It's just a phase. It will pass, right? So in those earlier periods as a mom, personally, I couldn't go to work in those first few weeks, you know, being a mom. And, you know, this was you coming out of a very active professional life. You're wondering, is everything passing me by? You know, will I see the relevance by the time I get back to work and all that? But I was able to, you know, get through that with the knowledge and the full understanding that this is a season, and not just that it's a season, it's one that I'm grateful for, because it's not a small task to actually bring life to the world. Like, women didn't choose this. God chose us for the job of bringing new life to the world.
Yes.
It's a job, right? It's something that everybody should be clapping for us every day for.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree.
Right? Like, I mean, when I became a mom, like, you know, before I used to feel like, wait, today is Mother's Day again. Like, why is there so much Mother's Day? But before I became a mom, I'm like, what?
Yes.
Mother's Days. There should be public holidays
It's
that are Mother's Day.
such an achievement in itself.
Yes, the point is, yes, it is. It actually is. It's no small feat at all to bring life to the world. And I say to, and now I say to moms, you know, just enjoy the season. No, appreciate your season, be grateful for it, and enjoy it. Like actually be present in the moment and know this. And that's the first thing that has helped me. Right. The second thing that has helped me is embracing help and support. Right. Don't try to, you know, be all strong woman, I got this, right? Embrace help and support, both from every angle, as much of it as is available to you, right? Even what I've also learned in this season is that even with the men, the husbands, some men are very, very willing to help, but you have to show them how they can help because they're also new to this. So it's tempting to just assume that, you know, if he's not doing something, it's because he doesn't want to help you. But no, sometimes it's, I'll love if you can help him with this, and then you show him. All right. So maybe in a country where you can't have, you know, a parent or something around, but embrace help in the form of the spouse that you have. So embrace help so that you can also free time to do some things that are important to you, you know, as the season progresses. So you may not be able to go right back into full-time work, but once you feel up to it, maybe it's a course you want to take, maybe, you know, it's a book you want to read. So embrace help so that you can do some of those things. I'm sharing practically these are some things that have helped me in the season that I am, right? And then, you know, the third thing I would say that has really helped me, you know, in this season is also being very intentional about being structured. Wow. Initially, it may feel like, I mean, to be honest, those first few weeks are unstructured because even your baby doesn't understand what's going on. Like, what changed? What's going on here? Right? So it can be very difficult in those earlier weeks, but as it progresses, it's easier to now, okay, establish a routine, right? So that has also helped me, you know, a routine around wake time, bath time, feed time, and all that, so that you can also plan your time, right? Now I know what time I can give when I'm approached for a session like this, because I know that, okay, at this time, this is available, that's available, I have this block, this person is around to help me hold baby, you know, so you can plan better when you have structure in place, right? So that's also something, once, you know, as you progress and you say you begin to see a rhythm, you know, work around that structure so that you can leverage the structure to be able to also get, you know, some things on. So these are top 3 things for me that have been really, really helpful, really, really helpful. And then if I could add a final thing, I would say that continually maintaining a supportive community, people that remind you of who you are and what you're capable of, right? So that you don't lose yourself in motherhood, right? So, for example, I had the kind of husband that, you know, is quick to remind me of all that I am and all that I carry, right? So it's like, you know, you're just at the background, nothing is happening, and there'll be days like that where you just feel I'm out of the game, you know, I'm lost. You know, someone to remind you, no, you're not out of the game, you know. Remember that you are doing this for us. Once this is over, basically making a plan, reminding you that, you know what, this is a cutoff. Remember that you're going back to this at this time. Just reminding you of who you are, friends, you know, people things that remind you of the greatness that you are, you know, so that you don't lose yourself. And then, you know, it just helps you, you know, maintain an image of yourself that is healthy, even as you go through that demanding season. And especially for first-time moms, that mental image shouldn't leave you of who God says. Even that support, you can get it from the Word of God, who you are. Constantly reminded is very important so that you come out of that process better off, and not the other way around, because you've been able to hold on to a healthy mental image based on support and the kind of things that you've been feeding on as well.
Wow, so profound. And I can highlight that, number one, understand that being a mother, it's an achievement. I know that it seems like it's only when you're out there doing amazing stuff in your profession. It seems like, oh, that's when you are actually making great results. But being a mother in itself is an achievement. And then number 2, embrace help. You don't have to do it all alone. And number 3, maintain a community that empowers you. Right.
Yes.
This is so profound. I could listen to you all day, but this conversation has to end. So I'm just going to be wrapping up with one more question. Looking at all that you've achieved right now, in retrospect, what advice would you give to your 24-year-old self?
Nice. This is actually a question that I've thought about a few times. I remember just a few days ago, it just occurred to me that, wow, this year makes it 10 years since I graduated from, my undergraduate program. And I was just laughing because I was reflecting on that version of me. I graduated at 19, my undergraduate, I was 19, going on 20. I was so young and the pressure was real, because at that early phase, for me, the pressure was really real. I was thinking back to my graduation day and how, the pressure that came with finishing with the first class. Like everybody just felt like they had an idea of what should happen next in your life because you're a high flyer. So the expectations are just high, like you must succeed, So you're just coming out of school and wondering, how do I not disappoint all these people, So yeah, that question, makes me smile because the first advice I'll give to my younger self, is don't be anxious. Like, don't allow anxiety get to you. Don't be anxious, right? And that's important because I look back and I realize that, yeah, I actually dealt with anxiety because, like I said, the pressure was there. Like, everybody was suggesting, do this or do that or take that course or take this job. And I was just worried I had that anxiety about success and even about failure. Like, on one hand, I was anxious about not failing. I was also anxious about succeeding. But as I look back now, I realized that no, there was no need for that at all. Why? Why should you not be anxious? Because, it's almost like, what's the reason why I say that? It's because one day at a time,
yes,
right? You would realize that a lot unfolds as you progress. Clarity is on the road. That clarity that you wish you had. Like, I just wish I know now what I will do in 10 years. So I'll just be doing that now. Like, the clarity you desire about your life will unfold as you journey, right? So I'm being okay with that. Things will unfold. But what you must know, the second thing I'll say is don't be anxious. Why? Because things will unfold as you move. Clarity is on the road. The second thing I'll say is start with what you know now and with what you have now. Very important, right? Advice to my younger self, start with what you know now with what you have now. And when I say start does not mean launch a program. Start could be take a job, right? The point is, don't allow fear incapacitate you. I've met young people that they are so anxious about their future that they're not even able to make the most of their present, right? So they are in the motions, they are getting up and moving, but they are living in the future, not in the present. Like, don't have the future in mind, but live in the present. Have the future in mind, but live in the present. Like, enjoy every day. Live, truly live, because the future you're worried about is going to unfold, and that ability to unfold is hinged on your ability to live in the present.
Wow,
a
my
level
mind
of
is
mindfulness
blown right now.
Yes, you need a level of mindfulness in your present to actually be able to see as what is unfolding, to to be able to be aware enough to recognize what the world is showing you about yourself, about your strengths, about your abilities. Those answers are coming through conversations. They are coming through your volunteering. They are coming through your job, through the feedback you're getting from your superiors. But if you're not mindful, you will miss it. Whereas that's exactly what you're looking for, but you think it's somewhere else, right? So advice to younger self is, start with what you have and what you know, and just live in the present. Very, very important. Another advice to younger self is embrace mentorship. Very important. I like to say this. It's said that experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your own experience. You can learn from the experience of others. Yes, experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. That's why we feel like, oh, I'll learn from my experiences. No, you can learn from the experience of others. And that's where mentorship comes in, right? Be someone that, is such a value adding person that people who are older and who have gone ahead will feel the need to draw you in and give you guidance. So mentorship is not being in people's DMs and saying, mentor me. Mentorship is look for opportunities to add value to the work that others are doing, especially people you look up to. Add so much value to what they do that they will feel the need, they'll be compelled to provide direction for you, right? So just say, you know what, this person is such, this person should not miss road. Let's help her. But you have to attract that commitment from them. It's not by just being in their DMs and saying, I like what you do, I like what you do. So embrace mentorship. But know that you would earn your mentors. You would win them over, right? And it's by adding value to the work that they do. And adding value may just mean, hey, this person you admire, someone from a distance, is having an event. Reach out to them. Oh, I have this skill. I'm happy to volunteer. This is something I've done a lot, right? For example, I know how to MC events well. There are a number of people who I have mentor-mentee kind of relationship with that I just reach out by saying, hey, I see that hello ma'am, I see that you're having this event. I'm happy to volunteer. I host events well. Here are some videos and some feedback from events I've hosted. If you need someone in this capacity, I'm very glad to assist. And so I'm giving that example to say, look, you may be looking at it and say, what can I add to someone so high up? But you'll be surprised how much of your gift, your skill, your talent. So this is why you must also develop yourself so that you actually have something to offer. So value is not necessarily buying them a gift. Is that you have skills that you can put on the table for them to leverage, right? So I think the final one I'll add, advice to younger self. This is something I've actually practiced, and this is something I always advise every young person. It's simple. Whatever your hand finds to do, do well. Look, that one is important. Whether you're volunteering in church, you are, working in an organization, whatever. Like, let it be said that, let it become a person that if they say that Christina is going to be part of this team, let all your team members be happy that, thank God, headway, valuable person, right? Because everybody knows that you are someone who gives yourself to whatever you do. So whatever your hand finds to do, don't be lackadaisical, don't be shabby, because your work, as you advance, realize how much your work speaks for you, both in the career space and everything. I always share about how I lived in a house in Lekki for 3 years without paying a rent. Why? Because the owners of that house knew me from when I was a teenager in Port Harcourt, serving at a church and teaching in children's church. And they just knew me as this teenager that I was always, helping, adding value. I was just a kind of person. So when I moved to Lagos, I needed a place to stay, and they heard about it. They called my parents to say, hey, we have a house somewhere. She can go and check it out. If she likes the place, we're happy to give her the keys. And that's how I live in a house in Lekki without paying a dime for 3 years. Now, how would I have known that just giving myself to what I was doing in church would earn me such a great privilege? But you see, the point is you never know. Your own work is what give your best. You don't know what it's going to lead to. You don't know who is in the audience. You don't know who is watching, right? But just make sure that whatever your hand finds to do well. All right, let me stop there.
Wow. My God, this is so profound. And these are really insights to treasure. And I know that those listening today and those who will be listening subsequently would have a lot to glean, a lot of life lessons to glean from. And thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you tonight. Thank you so much for making out time and for sharing with us from the wealth of your experience. Thank you so much. To everyone watching, nominations are still on. So if you know of any young lady, young African woman who is doing great things and you know that her work deserves recognition, please head on to the Future Forward Female account and nominate someone under the 7 categories. Thank you so much for joining this live tonight. All right. Good night. Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye.